Two American cities, two responses to chaos. One story that reveals everything about leadership under pressure. In Portland, anarchists control entire city blocks while a federal judge blocks the National Guard. Antifa militants attack federal officers with impunity while police warn citizens they'll be arrested for driving down their own streets. Meanwhile, reports from Memphis paint a very different picture. Sources claim the National Guard deployment there has led to major arrests and recovered missing children. Citizens are reportedly celebrating in the streets, but what's really happening in these cities? The contrast between federal intervention accepted versus federal help rejected tells a story about America's future. What you're about to see will make you question everything, so keep on watching. And just like two cities show us the importance of making the right choices for our safety, you need to make the right choice for your skin's health. A meta-analysis of 23 controlled trials proved that collagen supplements deliver real improvements in skin hydration and elasticity. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen. It's transformed my skin with 5 types of premium collagen. I've seen smoother skin, fewer fine lines, and a youthful glow. Plus, improved joint health and bone strength. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com right now. They're including free VIP coaching, a skin health ebook, and free shipping. That's healthwithgary.com. Now, we're going to start by taking a trip to the White House in the press briefing room, and then we're going to show you this remarkable video that was captured in Portland that will just, it's going to burn you up. But first, let's check in with the press secretary from earlier today.
A federal judge over the weekend that the president had appointed to the bench.
So this is, just for the record, this is Caitlin Collins, CNN, asking Caroline Leavitt. And this is important context. You'll understand in a moment.
A federal judge over the weekend that the president had appointed to the bench in his first term in office basically argued that he could not deploy other states' National Guards to Portland. Basically said that it was untethered, his argument, to what is actually happening on the ground. Which local officials in Portland have said that the National Guard is needed there?
With all due respect to that judge, I think her opinion is untethered in reality and in the law. The president is using his authority as Commander-in-Chief, U.S. Code 12406, which clearly states that the president has the right to call up the National Guard in cases where he deems it's appropriate. And if you look at what has happened in Portland, Oregon, for more than 100 nights, I was talking to our law enforcement team about it this morning, for more than 100 days, night after night after night, the ICE facility has been really under siege by these anarchists outside. They have been disrespecting law enforcement. They've been inciting violence. We saw, again, a guillotine rolled out in front of this federal building. And so the president wants to ensure that our federal buildings and our assets are protected. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. And ultimately, in the case in Los Angeles, that judge ruled in the Ninth Circuit, that panel of judges ruled that those troops could remain and that the president was well within his authority to do so. So we are appealing that decision. As you know, we expect a hearing on it pretty quickly, and we're very confident in the president's legal authority to do this, and we're very confident we will win on the merits of the law.
But no local officials that you can point to that have said we need the National Guard? Because I spoke to the police chief of Portland last week. He said that the president's claims just don't match up with what's happening on the ground.
I would encourage you as a reporter to go on the ground and to take a look at it for yourself, because there's been many members of the press, not press in this room, but independent journalists, some of whom we'll be inviting to the White House very soon to share their stories, because they have been in the middle of these riots and they have witnessed the anarchy that is taking place night after night. It's on video. You should play it on your show. You have a great opportunity on prime time on CNN to show your audience. Yeah, but you're probably talking to partisan Democrat officials who are opposed to everything this president does. You should also ask the people who live in Portland. We've actually heard from many members of the community who have said that this is complete civil disobedience. It's a mess. It's been loud. It's been troubling for neighbors in the community who are just trying to live peacefully. And these people are not there to peacefully protest. They are there to cause mayhem and havoc.
A federal judge over the weekend.
So she calls out Caitlin Collins. Says, why don't you play some of the clips from Portland? So Rapid Response 47 post says, here you go, Caitlin Collins, for your show, even though nobody will be watching. This was posted by 3Jane TV Rapid Response. Look at the mayhem. not see that on CNN. This is the footage that CNN refuses to air. This is what Caroline Leavitt says to Caitlin. Why don't you show this stuff? You have an opportunity to show your viewers. Rapid Response says nobody will be watching. Oh, but there's more. Homeland Security says they're not sending their best. Join ICE.gov. Here's more from Portland. U.S. Immigrations and Customs. Portland refused to walk. We'll give you a free ride. And it looks like we have an Antifa terrorist on a cart being dragged off. They see me rolling. Trying to catch me riding dirty. Yeah, that's what they're doing here. That person is riding dirty. They are cuffed and they are rolling on a cart. Looks like they're being taken into an ICE facility for processing. Here's more. This is wild. Antifa spitting at a federal agent on the face and immediately regrets it. Watch this.
You guys don't belong here! Go back to the fucking South where you belong! Fuck you! You are protecting pedophiles! You are protecting Get out of our city! Get out of our state! Get out of here, bitch! Get out of our state!
And he goes down. What an idiot. Let's watch that in slow motion, shall we? There it is. There's a spit. Boom. And the grab. And he is down. What an idiot. Was it worth it, bro? Was it worth it? Is that so you could post in your Discord chat with all your Antifa buddies? How you're such a badass? But I'm sure Kamala Harris has a fund for his bond. Let's see. I think we have... here is more. DHS agents ripping down a massive Abolish ICE banner outside the ICE facility in Portland 24 hours ago. Trump's DHS has made it very clear they will not bow down to Antifa, even if Portland police refuse to assist. But of course, Caitlin Collins wants to present that, there's nothing wrong in Portland. 17 hours ago, Matt Tardio writes, calling all patriots today, October 6th, after Nick's orders, arraignment 2 p.m., PDX Justice Center. We are claiming our own medic tents. Antifa isn't allowed to walk through them. That standard Portland police have set. We shall see if the law is equally enforced.
Sidewalks and... Hey, what's going on, America? I know you guys just saw my video with Nick Sortor getting assaulted trying to walk down the street by Antifa. So, here's what we're going to do. Because the Portland police, I don't think it matters if you want to walk down the street. Antifa's allowed to own this side of the street over here. These are alleged medic tents. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, this side of the street is going to belong to us. Because apparently, you can just claim sidewalks in Portland as your own and prevent anybody from moving down them. So my curiosity is simply whether or not we are going to be held to the same standard as Antifa. Because I know for a fact that people that live in this building, because I've talked to them all day long, they are actually upset of all the tear gas, all the rioting, everything else that's going on inside that building. So, I'm checking out my hotel tomorrow. And you know what? I'm a Green Beret. I've slept in a hell of a lot worse places than the streets of Portland. I need some folks to help me pull Firewatch. Get down here. We are literally setting up tents. We're gonna own that place. And honestly, if there's not a freaking tent right here tomorrow, I'm on that one too. Hey, what's going on?
It is a war in Portland. Stephen Miller pushing back against CNN, arguing the National Guard isn't needed in Republican-led cities because local police are effectively maintaining order. Yeah, right.
Kids. If a Democratic president someday calls the National Guard to a red state over what they see as open rebellion, but is what amounts to a demonstration that gets rowdy. I mean, is that not a fear of yours?
And they're posting pictures of their kids because it's a demonstration, and they have a sniper on top of a building firing a high-caliber rifle at a nice facility because it's a demonstration, and they are engaging in vehicle ramming
But the National Guard isn't being sent to Texas.
Because it's a
the National Guard isn't being sent to Dallas where that sniper was.
Because the Dallas Police Department and the governor of Texas, well, you walked right into that one, have responded to every call for assistance and help. They gave a stand-down order in Chicago, and they gave a stand-down order in Portland. Do you realize that there's 11,000 federal law enforcement officers in Oregon? That's larger than the size of the FBI. Local and state police are resourced to deal with this kind of riotous assembly, but they have refused. They've been given a stand-down order. So
they've arrested some 70 people since June. They've been arresting folks on the ground. They've been arresting folks on the ground. They refute what you're saying outright.
We literally have the 911 audio of the stand-down order in Chicago, and we have documented inside of DHS every single unresponded to 911 call over the recent weeks and months.
If a Democratic...
You walked right into that one. National Guard. Here is more from Stephen Miller engaging on CNN.
The covered part. Well, the administration will abide by the ruling insofar as it affects the covered parties. But there are also many other options the president has to deploy federal resources and assets out of the U.S. military to Portland. But I was making the point that under federal law, Section Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has the authority anytime he believes federal resources are insufficient to federalize the National Guard to carry out a mission necessary for public safety. So it's important to understand that in Portland, ICE officers have been subjected to over 100 nights of terrorist assault, doxing, murder threats, violent attack, and every other means imaginable to try to overturn the results of the last election through violence. The most important point I want to make today is that the number 1 and 2 items in the GOP platform in 2024 were to turn back the border invasion and carry out the largest deportation program in American history. Since Inauguration Day, there's been an orchestrated campaign of terrorism and violence against ICE officers. Of course, we saw the recent sniper attack against ICE officers. They're publishing their families' photos online. They're threatening them with murder. They're threatening them with death. And they're physically attacking them in the street each and every day. And yet, shamefully, the mayor and governor in Portland and Oregon have refused to render aid, leaving ICE officers to street fight every single night against these terrorists. Well,
Yeah, you saw the video. You see what the street fighting looks like. It's out of control. Let's see. Meager Portland law enforcement. This is from U.S. Immigration and Customs. Meager Portland law enforcement support after 100 nights of violent demonstrations by agitators at ICE office. Too little, too late. It wasn't until President Trump actually showed the strength to say, we're going to protect our ICE agents. We're going to send in the National Guard. Here's another one. Front lines from TPUSA. MAGA patriot Thomas Allen was taken into custody by Portland police Sunday outside the ICE facility. He's accused of assaulting an Antifa militant. Cho Show briefly spoke with Allen, who claims it was self-defense after reviewing video from a live stream. It appears to show Allen unloading a devastating right hook at a guy running towards his direction. Allen was targeted by far-left activists and harassed all night for wearing a Trump cap and a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt. He was arrested a few days ago for knocking out another far-left activist.
Absolutely wild scene unfolding right outside the ICE facility. After Nick Sorter was trying to show what was happening inside the Antifa refueling tent, an absolute melee broke out.
I don't know, man. I got you.
Thomas Allen, he was been targeted all evening for wearing MAGA gear, his MAGA cap and wearing the Charlie Kirk shirt. He just got arrested. They just took his MAGA cap. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow, you saved the MAGA cap. You saved it. All right, Thomas Allen's being escorted out by Portland PD. Allen's being targeted again by Antifa militants. They tried to steal his MAGA cap. Portland PD is arresting Thomas Allen. Wow. They're taking him in zip ties. So, again, this is the type of powder keg and ecosystem that has continued to explode out of control here in Portland. City officials continue to allow and enable this situation, and there's absolutely no end in sight.
They're arresting MAGA supporters when they should be arresting Antifa. Think about that for a second. Now, what's this? We have more. Portland police actively defending Antifa militants, telling local residents they will be arrested if they drive down Antifa-controlled streets. Residents are fed up by the occupation. President Trump must liberate Portland. Watch this.
You guys didn't do anything about this? What are you doing? That way. Do not go to the crowd of people. If you go to this crowd of people, you will be stopped and arrested. Thank you. Do not try to play that game with me right now. Man, do not play that game with me right now. We're not going to a crowd of people in this car. Back it up and take a left. If you go to this crowd of people, you will be arrested. Ma'am, I am telling you, if you go to this crowd of people, you will be arrested. Get out of the way, I'll take care of it. Get out of the way, I'll take care of it. I'll do everything. Get out of the way. You're not going to be stopped. I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it. Back up and take a left. You can get through and get out that way. You're not going this way. Back up. If you're not going to listen to my orders, then it's your choice. I am giving you an order right now. Back this vehicle up. It is a public road, but right now there are people occupying it. A car does not supersede people. Anymore. The federal government came in to punch your ass. Watch me get this lady out of here. All these motherfuckers, and you can't get this lady out of here. You're fucking incompetent. You're all a bunch of losers and dying to do. Yeah, back up. We'll deal with it. Thank you, sir. And we know it's a headache between us two. Back up. I appreciate it.
Portland is under siege, folks. And I think we got something for President Trump here. Here he is, outside Marine One.
Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives.
Mr. President,
and you have a judge like that, that judge ought to be ashamed of him.
Governor, you say
Portland is burning to the ground. Here's more. President Trump, outside Marine One.
I really believe he's afraid for his life somehow. When you can have 40 or 50 people killed over the last couple of months, hundreds of people wounded, there's no place like that in the world. Hundreds of people wounded, 50, 55 people shot and killed. And Pritzker gets up and says what a wonderful place it is. They need help. Washington, D.C. is now a safe place. You're not going to get mugged or hit. You're not going to get raped. You're not going to get anything. Washington, D.C. went from a hellhole to a safe place. I love the way you nod. Is it true, though? People, a lot of the people right here were, a lot of the people right here were mugged. Reporters. And you know what? You're safe now. Nothing. We've had no crime. It took 12 days to solve the problem, 12 days. And we're going to do that in Chicago. We're going to do that in Portland. Now, Portland's different. That's a bunch of paid insurrectionists. But you have a lot of paid people in Chicago, too. I believe the politicians are under threat because there's no way somebody can say that things are wonderful in Chicago. Almost 55, I think it was 55 people over a short period of time have been murdered in Chicago, have been shot. 222 people over a short period of time have been hit, have been wounded, not died. But 55 people died over a short period of time You're telling me there's no city in the world like that. We're going to straighten it out. And I think that Pritzker, he's not a stupid person. I think that Pritzker's afraid for his life. I really believe he's afraid for his life somehow.
Pritzker's afraid for his life. This just in a few minutes ago. The Texas National Guard is now mobilizing on orders from Governor Greg Abbott to bolster President Trump's defense of federal sites in Chicago and Portland. So now the Texas National Guard will be deploying to Chicago and Portland. That just happened moments ago, literally minutes ago. So this is developing. The federal judge, however, temporarily blocking the Trump administration from deploying any National Guard troops in Oregon. A Tennessee Democrat fomenting violence over Trump sending the National Guard, accusing Trump of being a white supremacist.
Number of resources.
Pearson, your reaction.
Yeah, I mean, look, we do not want to see our community being occupied by the military, and we don't want to see over-policing. The solution to the problems that are being articulated is not to increase the number of police, it's to increase the number of resources to actually reduce poverty, to actually educate our population, our children, for the opportunities of the future, and it's to make sure that people have a living wage so that some of the crimes that they commit literally for the need to survive do not happen. We know that gun violence is one of the most significant issues and epidemics in our country. I got expelled because of it. Right? Children under 18 are most likely to die from a bullet than cancer or car accidents. That means laws have to change at the state level. That Governor Bill Lee, Speaker Sexton, Lieutenant Governor Rand McNally need to work on to reduce the amount of access people have to firearms, and that reduces ultimately the amount of crimes that get committed. But you can't pass laws that say, hey, it's okay for you to have guns in your car, and then you complain about people breaking into cars for the firearms that they find there. We have to deal with the systemic root causes of the problems, and black communities should not be the place and the pawns for an authoritarian, wannabe dictator, white supremacist gain. And that's what we're...
Oh, wow. Okay, but can we cite crime statistics, or is that racist too? Trump informing Pritzker he's federalizing 300 Illinois National Guard troops. Trump, call up your troops or we will, and that's exactly what Trump did. MSNBC not happy with the mayor of Memphis, however, who invited the National Guard in to stop their crime problem.
The Defense Department
About this.
Yeah, Alex, we have not heard from the White House yet about this. I did reach out, but we did hear from the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who posted a statement in part, if I can read it to you, saying, quote, this morning, the Trump administration's Department of War, of course, he's referring to the Defense Department, gave me an ultimatum, call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our will. Pritzker went on to say in the coming hours, the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the Illinois National Guard. This is something the president has forecasted since at least early September that he wants to do, sending troops, federalizing the National Guard and sending them to Chicago, whether the Democratic governor there likes it or not. The president doing the same in other cities. Of course, here in Washington, D.C., we still see a presence of National Guard troops around the city. The president saying the crime is low now because of it. Of course, the mayor here had somewhat welcomed that development in Memphis last week. We saw federal agents from the DEA, the ATF, the FBI go down into that city to try and help crime there. The Republican governor of that state accepting it, as are some residents. But in this case, in Chicago, in Illinois, you have the governor there saying, we've got this under control. We don't need your help. And the president seemingly going around that. But again, we asked the White House to confirm this. We don't have it confirmed yet from their end. But according to Pritzker, that is the conversation that took place
about this.
Now, what is happening in Memphis? Here we have a patriot in Memphis photobombing CNN with a sign that says Democrats destroyed Memphis as the National Guard begins arriving. The back of the sign says, thank you, President Trump. This man just single-handedly destroyed the BS narrative that CNN was pushing.
Hoping that FBI, it's been an alphabet soup of law enforcement as we've seen them get ready and go out and make runs throughout the day. We know more than 50 arrests were made just last night, 20 guns taken off the street in the last 48 hours. You see people like this who behind me with this sign. He has it on both sides. If you can flip it around and show what he's saying, he's hoping that this action by Trump will help make the city safer. Take a listen to a man that we talked to in a neighborhood that basically says he welcomes the idea of this federal action. FBI.
National Guard deployment. Why Memphis? Why now? Elon Musk is opening a massive AI data center in Memphis. Hard time finding employees to work there because of crime. Send in the Guard. Colossus 1 and 2. That is the data center that Elon Musk is building. This person seems to think that it's some sort of coordinated effort between Elon Musk and Trump because Elon's building a data center. Memphis under heavy security, 150 plus arrests, 5 missing children rescued, and National Guard on the ground. Is this safety or overreach? Rommel Ross writes, and let's see what this woman has to say.
For you, for everyone who didn't want the National Guard and the agencies to come to Memphis, there's been 153 arrests, 5 gang members of those 153, 40-something illegal guns off the street. Okay. 5 missing children have already been recovered. 5. If those 5 children's lives aren't enough to have the entire National Guard and whoever here in our city, if their lives aren't enough for you, then keep being hateful. 5 children have been found. That should say enough. For everyone who didn't want the National Guard and the agencies to come to Memphis,
they are already seeing results. People are saying the thugs destroying Memphis are scared of police and the National Guard. Oh, we just played that woman. Here's more from that resident who had the sign. Memphis citizens are rallying behind President Trump and the National Guard, and residents are reclaiming their city from chaos. If crime goes down, everything changes. We don't have to live like this, says one supporter. Thank you, President Trump.
And what are we doing? Oh, yes.
And tell me why. Why do you support?
Well, for the past 50 to 60 years, the Democrat Party has been in charge of Memphis, and nothing's gotten better. Schools have gotten worse. The crime is out of control, and what are we doing about it? We keep voting for the same people who have the same outlook on life that's not helping anything. Nothing has gotten better.
And so you feel that the Democratic Party...
Who else is responsible?
And so do you feel that the Republican Party is basically doing this to help the city of Memphis?
Well, yeah, if crime goes down, everything changes. We don't have to live like this. Here's what I wish. People would be more upset at the crime happening in their city than Donald Trump sending troops to help the city. You're fighting the wrong fights.
So let me ask, what is your expectation of the forces?
Relief. Just relief. Because I'm tired of hearing the sound, the sounds of gunshots putting my newborn to sleep. We don't gotta live like this. It's nonsense. And the Democrat Party has failed us, and it's time that we stop voting these clowns in. It makes no sense.
And what would you like to say to President Donald Trump if he was to hear this?
Thank you. Please send more. Please send as many. Stay as long as you want. Stop by my house. I got Diet Coke for you. Please help us. We actually need help.
Look at that. Man, the people of Memphis, they want help. And they're getting it. President Trump is answering the call. But in Portland, it is just breaking down. CNN's ignoring it. President Trump is not. So we're going to continue to track this. And if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. The tale of 2 cities exposes the brutal truth about Democrat governance. Portland's leaders have surrendered their streets to anarchists, blocked federal help, and turned their city into a war zone. Meanwhile, Memphis rolling out the red carpet, the welcome mat for Trump's National Guard, and watch their city transform overnight. 150 arrests, 5 missing children found, citizens celebrating in the streets. See, that's what happens when you choose order over chaos, when you put citizens before criminals. Portland's judge claims the Guard deployment is unconstitutional while her own city burns. Memphis's leaders claim their streets back while their people sleep safe. The contrast couldn't be starker. One city's leadership hates Trump more than they love their citizens. The other loves their citizens more than they care about politics. So here's my question. Should federal funding be cut to any city that refuses National Guard help during violent unrest? Yes or no? Let's have a conversation in the comments. And while you're down there, grab some gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.